Welcome to the YCNU podcast. Join us each week for engaging conversations with campus leaders, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members. From academics to athletics, campus life, and beyond, we cover it all. Have someone you want to hear from? Let us know. Let's explore the world of Yavapai College together.
Theresa Scott and Deborah Chambers, welcome to the YCNU podcast. Can you guys please give us an introduction and tell us about your role here at Yavapai College?
My name is Deborah Chambers. I am a coordinator for student affairs, which is part of enrollment management. I also run the food pantry, which is really the biggest part of my job that I do. And I work very closely with Theresa. We have a lot of students in common.
Wonderful.
And I'm Theresa Scott, Manager of Social Services here at YC. As Deb said, we work really closely together. We refer students back and forth from the pantry to the basic needs program, and we work very closely.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I obviously want to know a lot more about what you guys do, especially the pantry. I know this is a very important and big program that we have here to offer. But let's kind of get to that. So you guys tell me here, what are some of these programs that you guys run? What is the primary vision, mission behind all this, and the goal for your department there? And how does it align with the overall mission of Yavapai College? Because we do a lot of different things here for our students, for our staff and community in general. You seem to do something that is very important. And I want you to talk a little bit about that mission that you have, and how does that align with Yavapai College mission?
Well, I think most importantly, the mission of student development and student affairs is retention. Right. We're trying to keep students. We've got them in the door. We don't want them to leave. They have goals and they have families. And if we can't put food on the table, help them put food on the table, or the wraparound services that Theresa is also involved in, they're going to quit school. Mm-hmm. In that scenario, everybody loses. The student loses because they didn't attain their goals. The family loses because the person is potentially not making more money or whatever it is he was going for. The college loses a student. The community loses a member of the community who is going to go on to do something bigger than they were doing before. I think that is in the food pantry is in total alignment with that mission.
Right.
We try to, the students can come every 2 weeks and get enough groceries for their family. We feel like that is an integral part of keeping that student here. And also the stuff that Theresa does with the housing and all of the other things, we're here to keep them here. You want to come to Yavapai College, we're going to try to keep you at Yavapai College, no matter what it is that we have to help you with. And the food pantry is the most basic thing that we could help students with.
So, Theresa, before you go and tell us about your programs, the ones that you oversee there that are housing and everything else, I just want to touch on something else here to kind of set the context for all this. So in our pursuit here to retain students, to support our students and completing their studies and staying here with us, I think we have talked about this in the past, but there is unfortunately a small portion of our student body here that is borderline homeless, if not homeless, right? Or very deprived of resources, basic resources like food. And that eventually will be one of the reasons why they might drop out. They might not be able to continue to come here. And then we're kind of, there's definitely a need, and we know about this need, obviously, and we're developing all of this to attack that. Can you tell me a little bit more about how much do we know about this population of students that are unfortunately unable to, just have the right resources here to even to eat or to live, or to eventually become homeless, and just kind of give me a little bit of that context there. How much do we know about it?
A couple of years ago, there was a study done called the HOPE study. And there was, I believe it was something like 43% of students on college campuses had reported food insecurity. And I think those numbers were pretty consistent with housing, Theresa.
Correct.
Was that in our campus or
that was done nationwide.
Nationwide, 43%.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was an incredible
That's
amount.
terrible.
And then we have we've had a big increase as well in. So from February of 2024 to February of 2025, in that year, we had a 33% increase in student visits. In March, that increase was 85% from 2024 to 2025. That's a huge increase.
Right.
And we just continue to keep seeing that every month. So as the economy goes, so do our students.
Right. Theresa?
Yeah, and we actually just did a report on retention. So for the basic needs services from 2021 to so far in 2025, we had a 197% increase in the students that we served. Pardon me. And we just completed a report, and of those students that the basic needs program served, we had a 92% retention rate.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, these numbers are frightening. They're just, besides all of the other pressures that students have with student debt, this is a conversation that, it's become very popular in the recent years. There's also that. So it's not just their inability to pay for their education, but also just pay for themselves, just to be able to support themselves with food and housing, right? This is incredible. So Theresa, tell me a little bit more about the housing opportunities that we offer here to our students. And does that include staff as well before you go in there?
No, well, we do have staff housing, but I don't work with staff.
Right, that's separate.
Right.
Okay, tell me about the housing opportunities here. You're part of this work for students.
So yeah, some of our off-campus housing opportunities have really increased. We didn't have much before. We now have Prescott Pines, which is our new property out by Goldwater Lake. I think there's 108 beds there. That's for staff and for students. And we have an RV pad out there. We have an RV pad in Verde Valley. In approximately August of this year, we're going to be expanding those RV pads out to Chino Valley and also building some tiny homes. Because housing is very, very challenging for most all of our students right now. 2-bedroom apartments are listed for $1,800 to $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
And a lot of students, depending on what program they're in. So, for example, you might have a student in the nursing program. So they have school, they have studying, they have families to take care of. Does not leave a lot of time for full-time work. Oh, and clinicals as well, right? So doesn't leave a lot of time for full-time work. And 2 people have to work in a household now full-time to be able to afford the rent. So it's very, very challenging. There is some rental assistance programs out there, but the resources in the community have recently really decreased. So there's not a lot of opportunity for people to get assistance with their rent and things like that.
Right. That's incredible. Let's, can you guys talk a little bit more about what type of students or participants here are we aiming to serve with this program? Just give me a little bit more details on what they look like and just sort of, let's create a little picture here of what kind of students we're talking about here and what are some of the key benefits that they can expect to gain from this. And if at all possible, how do they have access to this? How do they get to the pantry or to have access to housing? What's the process there? So who are these students? What kind of benefits they're getting from all of this? And how do they do that? How do they have access to that?
Well, I think a lot of the students that we see in the food pantry, as Theresa said about the nursing students, they're students who are full-time college students. They generally have families and they're struggling in all aspects, just not with food. And that's how we pass people back and forth between us as we see them coming in for more than one thing. Lots of nursing students, lots of mothers with children, We have a lot of single dads too. I think that a lot of times maybe they are one income families, and
Yeah. No, I mean, that's our student population you're describing right there, right?
exactly. That's exactly
For the
who they
most
are.
part.
Yeah. And what was the other part of your question?
So what some of the key benefits? I think we mentioned here that they have access to the pantry, but can we develop that answer a little bit more so that we can fully understand what that means? And as far as housing, you kind of mentioned a few of the benefits there, but are there any other things that we can talk about this, just to give more details on what, the benefits are?
Yeah, so we have resources for many different areas. We have resources for mental health counseling. We have a student can register on our Better Mind platform, and they receive 6 free counseling sessions per semester. We also have an in-person therapist if a student is on Access. We have an in-person therapist that comes from Spectrum once a week. And that is one of the other things that I do. We're called an assister site for SNAP, which is food assistance, and Access, which is health insurance.
Right.
We are an assister site for them, so I can bring a student in, we can complete their application, upload all of their documents to the DES website, and then I can monitor their case for 45 days in case there's any issues.
Wow. Okay.
Another one is we have substance abuse and support services here on campus for prevention and recovery. And I refer out for many different things, transportation, childcare, legal assistance, reentry students that are coming out of prison or jails, tuition assistance programs, employment, referrals to veteran services,
Right.
all kinds of different
Wow.
resource referrals.
So a lot more than just food assistance and housing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mental health benefits there too.
Correct, yes.
And how are these students? What's the process there for students to have access to that? Like, if I'm a student and I just enrolled with Yavapai College, and I don't know how to procure that type of support and assistance. What's the steps?
So I get referrals from many different areas. It might be staff, it might be faculty. Students can self-refer. So if a student goes to their MyYC portal and they go to the Student Support Services link, under that is personal support, and there is several tiles there: mental health counseling, food pantry. Someone wants to go straight to the basic needs office.
Right.
I have a tile there. So it's all listed right there in that one area.
That's amazing. Fantastic. I know that recently, I want to say it was maybe end of last year, we had a big campaign for the food pantry, and I know we just blew those numbers like off the roof. It was just an incredible campaign, and you had a lot of people come. And can you tell me a little bit about that event and
You're
how did it
talking
go?
about the mobile food distribution?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are a shining light for us. Because we built it from just helping students to now helping the community, which is just a beautiful thing. If you participate in one of these events with us, we have a lot of fun. We had a radio station out there. It's in the parking lot across from the PAC. And everybody is involved with it. People from all campuses volunteer. We have volunteers from the athletic division this year. We had the ladies soccer and softball came to help us. And we have some incredible numbers on that too. So we did it in September, and then we did it again in March. And in September, we had 111 cars. In March, we had 132. Now, they come through and they pick up for any number of households. We ask them,
Right.
You're picking up for 1, you're picking up for 3. So this year, they picked up for 238 households.
238. And these were not necessarily students, right? That was just community outreach.
Absolutely, community members.
Wow.
That fed, because we asked them how many people are in these households, that fed 626 people. That's what we did that day. And that is an incredible sense of like that we're actually doing something in the community. We're not just helping our students. Now we're helping everybody.
Right.
And that is almost a 47% increase over what we did last September, in just 6 months. So it's a good time. And everybody should come to them, which every year we want them to be bigger and bigger and bigger. We want to give away this food. And it's a variety of stuff. It's meat and it's dairy, it's vegetables, it's fruit, it's drinks. There's an incredible amount of stuff. We had about 60 volunteers, and the radio station's playing music, and they've got a little thing going where you spin the wheel and people who are driving through in the cars can wear a T-shirt. Like it's almost this like carnival-y kind of atmosphere with, with all of the people and the music and everything going on. And even our student workers are giving away little toys and stickers to the kids that are in the car. So it's a fun event. And then people are also getting food from it.
That's amazing.
So, and we're doing it every semester now going forward.
Where does the food or the resources for the food pantry or the housing, where are the resources coming from?
The most food we get is from St. Mary's Food Bank, and they're a wonderful partner for us.
Oh, okay.
We get 3 deliveries from them a month. We also get donations from local churches will do food drives for us. Community members will just drop stuff off. We have a staff giving campaign. We have a lot of staff who give funds directly to us and can be directed to the food pantry if they want to funnel their funds there. With some of our money, we have to go and buy food. There's gaps because there's things that students will always take, like peanut butter, jam, cereal, meat, those kind of things will go very quickly. And we'll have to take our own funds and go and purchase them. So that's why it's very important for us to be able to raise money. That's key to us. But people are very generous, I feel, with the food bank, with the food pantry, and especially the churches who do food drives for us.
Right.
We usually get a lot of stuff from them. We have the Rotary Club that our Richard Hernandez works with. They give us food almost every week. So, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like the more people know about this, I think the more they would donate, because it's such a good cause with our students. They're here, they're trying to improve. They're the person that we want to help we want to help everybody, but these students are trying to get to the next level.
Absolutely.
If we can help them get there, then we've done our job.
How about, Theresa, the resources for all the housing that we provide, the housing benefits? And you mentioned for the mental health, we have a partnership with
Better Mind.
Better Mind. I mean, where are the resources coming from for all the housing stuff? Like, the pines that was purchased by Yavapai College, I think. Just kind of give me a little, paint a picture here where the resources are coming from that then eventually will be, serving our students.
So we also have employee donations that go into a fund. We have what's called an emergency fund for students, which is we're only able to give a small amount because we try to stretch it out for a whole bunch of students. So that might be used for car repairs, to buy a tire, an oil change, all those kinds of things that's going to assist that student with actually getting to school, being able to get to class. We also have, we're working on our iShelter Plus program, which is, we're going to be doing a campaign for that soon. That will be a fund strictly dedicated to assisting students with housing. So might be past due rent, utility deposits, those kinds of things.
Okay.
As far as our Prescott Pines and our RV sites, which is all we currently offer right now, students are charged a fee for those lots and those dwellings. Hopefully, we'll get to a point someday where we're going to be able to assist with that more financially.
That's awesome. And do we have more partners that are kind of supporting Yavapai College on this, or funding is coming from Yavapai College to be able to provide these more affordable housing opportunities here?
Yes, the money is currently coming from Yavapai College at this point. A lot of the referrals that I make are community partners. So also once a year, we do this last year it was just for students, but the year before it was community-wide. So we do a resource fair where we bring a bunch of tables together, vendors together. So they might be from the local shelter, emergency shelter, domestic violence shelter or services, all those kinds of things. We bring them all together for one event once a year. And we work very closely with those community partners in referring students for services.
Wow, that's terrific. Let's talk a little bit about industry trends and community needs and initiatives here that we're offering. Is this all common in this industry, in the community colleges world? I mean, do all community colleges offer the same amount of benefits, or we're kind of pioneering in any shape or form this? Because this all sounds like very comprehensive. I mean, this is, we're reaching beyond just our student community here. We're going into our Yavapai County community. Yeah. And so is this usually, you can find these programs also in other colleges around the country?
Yeah, definitely. And Theresa and I have gone to several community colleges now. Actually, well, we also went to a university. We went to UCB in California to see what their program looked like as well. And of course, they have much greater resources than we do. Local Arizona community colleges kind of seem like the same thing to me, although I have seen in some of them that they have a regularly scheduled community distribution, like weekly or monthly. Right. Where at this point, we're only able to do it once a semester, but it would be great if we could actually get a little bit closer to that model. But yeah, we've gone to quite a few places, and it seems like everybody is doing this because there was already a need, and now the need is just getting greater and greater. Right. And as we can, see by our numbers, we're just going up and up and up.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then where do we go with this for the future? Like plans for the future? What are some of the goals that you guys have, that we have as Yavapai College here to make this even better, to grow this program?
Well, one of the things we're doing is we're trying to get a pantry started on the Verde campus. We've kind of struggled to do it over the last few years, but what we're doing is putting together bags, pre-made up bags for them. And they're keeping them on campus there. And then when a student is interested, they give them the bag of food. On our campus here in Prescott, it's a shopper's model. So the student goes online, they make an appointment, they come in, we give them a bag. They look at what they want. And we also, I've got to mention, get produce from the farmers market, the Prescott Farmers Market.
Oh, wonderful.
So we get organic produce every other week from them. And that's a huge treat for the students who come in to be able to get that kind of stuff. So we're trying to build up the Verde Food Pantry. We have Theresa sometimes takes things out to the Chino Valley campus. So we're trying to spread out and touch more students. Not every student can come all the way to the Prescott campus. So,
right. Because right now that's where all is, right? We have it concentrated here, the food pantry at least, right? Yes. But the goal is to expand this to all of the other campuses.
Expand it out, and then also maybe be able to do more mobile distributions during the semester instead of just one. And our next one is October 17th.
Wow. Well, we might need to come up with the Yavapai College food truck.
Oh, I love that.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I love that.
All right, let's just put that pin. Just pin that to the wall of desirable things.
When we went to that event in downtown Phoenix, there was a bus that was going around, and I forget who I don't know if that was ASU who did that, but they have a bus and it's in Phoenix, and it's full of produce that they get from local farmers.
Oh, wow.
And there's a schedule, and people know that they'll be at this address on this day and this time, and all through the week. And it's not free, but it's very much reduced.
Right.
So I like your food truck idea.
like
I think
that.
there's something in this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to see, so I serve, for SNAP and Access applications, which I get a lot of requests for because students really struggle. I used to have students come in going, I almost have a bachelor's degree and I had to stop this application because it was so confusing, right? So I serve all 6 of our campuses, helping with those applications and getting food to them, whatever they might need. We have to get a little more creative, say with students in Verde Valley or Sedona, but it can be done. I have it set up with administration there for us to be able to work together, to get them into a room, us looking at the same screen to be able to do their application and get their documents uploaded. But what I would like to see more availability in 2 areas, childcare being one of them, because Department of Economic Security, they have a huge wait list for the stipend to help with that childcare. So students are having to pay out of pocket for their childcare. When their rent has gone as high as it has, food, utilities, they are really struggling. So I would like for us to be able to, hopefully, my dream is maybe to have an area here on campus where we could pay the majority of their childcare while they're in school. So just to be able to expand a lot of those services, be able to help more with housing, maybe be able to put $500 toward a student's rent or deposits. So that's what I would like to see happen, is just to be able to serve more people and have more resources to do that.
I love it. These sound like very challenging but amazing goals.
Absolutely.
And then what partnerships or collaborations, for example, like with local businesses, schools, or other organizations, do we plan to be developing here in the future? We talked about some of the partnerships that we have currently, right? But there's always I'm sure that a way to expand all these programs is to have more partnerships and support from our community, right? What other partnerships are we looking for here, looking into in the future that could enhance, all the aspects of how much we can serve, how far we can serve geographically? Any plans? Anyone that we need to reach out to, make a call out for here right now on the podcast?
Well, I go to a lot of conferences. I go to as many conferences and get-togethers as I can. Where community members are going to be. So just recently, in the last year, I was able to add to my pot of resources free dental care.
Ooh.
So, and that's
a big one.
Yes, I met this gentleman at a conference. And also our in-person therapy that we now have available once a week on campus. That was just developed last year through a community partnership. So getting ourselves out there, meeting the people, I think is a good first step.
Lovely.
I would like to have partnerships with people like Costco, Fry's, Walmart. I think they could really help us. Even some of the local restaurants could be donating to us. It's just a matter of trying to get out there and talk to them and see what it is they could give to us. I know that they do give a lot in the community, and there's a lot of programs out there that I'd like to get us connected with. And one of our problems, I think, is that we're in a constant marketing loop, right? So because students leave, and we want them to leave, we want them to graduate and move on, and so every semester we're having to sort of remarket to a different batch of students.
Oh, I
We're
see.
getting a little bit better about that, I think. And then word of mouth, we're doing really well with. In fact, we did a bit of marketing at our last distribution where we asked the people in the cars coming through, where did you hear about this distribution? And the highest amount was from the college. They had heard it at the college. So we were actually doing the better job than the outside Facebook, Instagram, signage and stuff like that. It actually came internally from the college. So we're getting a bit better at doing this stuff, but I think we could do a lot more. Because even though 50 students in a month sounds like a lot, if you think about our student population, that's a fraction. And when you think about that number, that 43% of students on college campuses nationwide reporting food insecurity, those numbers don't line up with what we're having in the pantry. So it's really raising awareness and trying to get more community partners in is our goal.
Right. So do you think that the low numbers here, or the potential for higher numbers, is because of lack of awareness, or do you think that there might be some kind of resistance there in reaching out for help? And because, like we all feel, for lack of a better word, maybe embarrassed to reach out for help when we need the most. And if that's the case, what can we do? What have you been doing? And what else can we do to break that barrier?
It's
to
a huge,
make this more accessible.
It's a huge barrier. And people do feel that way. You're right. And we've had students who have felt very intimidated about coming in. We try to make it a fun atmosphere and really destigmatize the whole thing. We have student workers that work in the pantry, so it's kind of more of a peer-to-peer thing, and it's not, your mom or your grandma's in here like telling you what to do and what to get, so the students can interact with them. And also we try to just make it fun and easy to be in there. And when I'm talking to students, I ask about their classes, how they're doing. I'm also trying to capture whether or not they need more help. They can put on the form that they fill out, there's maybe 8 things that I would refer to Theresa if they check one of those boxes. And quite a few students I do end up referring. But just in case they haven't checked that box when I'm talking to them in the pantry, I'm kind of asking, like, how are you doing in school? What's going on here? And they're very forthcoming about it. But I'm doing it in a fun way to destigmatize the whole thing. Like, let's just chit chat. Let's make this easy.
Right.
Wow, look at this great produce that we have, and just really make it a calming experience. And because a lot of people, you can see they come in and they're very nervous. Some people don't seem to mind, and then other people really, really care about how it looks for them.
Right. Well, that's incredible. And I can imagine that is probably the biggest barrier, is to really make people feel comfortable, not just knowing that it's available to them, but making them feel comfortable enough to come and ask for help, because you're there ready to help. And I'm sure that that's not different with housing and everything else, Theresa, right? It's a big step for a lot of people to come and ask for that type of assistance.
It is. And really a very high percentage of the students. So we also have a survey. It's currently still called the Strong Foundation Survey, and it's listed under Student Support Services. But we are now known as the Basic Needs Office. So students might submit this survey to me and, what kind of issues are you having? Why did you come in today? Why did you contact me today? And I think I have a very, very high percentage of them that say, man, it's so hard to ask for help. But what I try to do is I also try to relate other students' experiences. So I might say to a student, like, this was really hard for me. And I'm like, or to maybe access the free mental health sessions. Like, I don't really like asking for help from anyone. And I'll tell them, a lot of students that I've talked to, I had a few students say to me, like, wow, I am really glad that I did that because this has really been beneficial to me. and talk about the experiences that other students have had and what they've reported back to me, that it's really made their life easier. In fact, I had one student say to me one time, like, I am so glad that I signed up for that Better Mind because it really changed my life. So I try to just, and being a social worker for 25 years, I'm able to pull those people in, right? And it's like, what I always tell them is, you know what? We all reach places in life sometimes where we have to ask for help, and someday you're going to be able to give back. And that seems to make them feel better.
That's terrific.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's do this, because I'm pretty sure we have a large group of students that are listening to the podcast, thankfully, because this is definitely meant for all of our communities, staff, student, faculty, and our community at large. Let's make a little call to action here. Let's talk to these students that are feeling a little hesitant and not taking advantage of all the wonderful opportunities that you two are there to offer and make it easy for them. So let's start with you here, Deborah.
Okay.
Make a call to action. Just call them in.
Well, it's very easy to use the food pantry, actually. All you have to do is go to yc.edu/food pantry. We have a very short survey there, and fill that out. That triggers a link that'll be sent to your email address. And when you click on that link, you're going to see the food pantry calendar. Book an appointment, come in. We want you to come in. And trust me, I usually have too much food, especially on St. Mary's delivery days. I'm trying to give you things. So please come in and let me give you food.
There you go. Theresa.
Yeah. So I would just like to say to students, like, everyone needs help every now and then. Please go on, complete a survey. You can also call me at 928-776-2093. You can also email me if you feel more comfortable. That's Theresa, THERESA .scott@yc.edu. Just reach out. We have a lot of resources available to you, and it could make your life a lot easier.
Lovely. Well, ladies, I would like to finish this podcast, which has been just terrific. Thank you very much for all the information you guys are sharing with us. I mean, I'm just enjoying getting to know both of you so much better, and everything that you do for our community. But I got one more question. I always kind of like to throw a little curveball here at the end of the podcast, because what you do is just so personal. It's so charged with all these feelings, these emotions. I'm sure you can give me a great answer to this question. Why is it that you do what you do here? What is in it for you?
Well, for the first couple of years that I worked here, I was not in charge of the food pantry. I was just a coordinator for our department, and I didn't see students. And I just did sort of like financial things and booking travel and things like that, which is great and a great part of my job that I really enjoyed. And then this opportunity came up to run the food pantry, and I asked my boss if I would be able to do that, and she was gracious enough to let me do it. And it's been an absolute joy ever since. And I think that transition for me was being able to work one-on-one with students and to really see the reason why we're here. It's one thing, doing travel and finances for our own staff and supporting them, but being able to also flip that to support students became really important to me. And there is joy on students' faces when they come in and they see what we have. And I, again, invite them to come in, because you'll be surprised at what you see. We have an amazing array of food and support services for you. That's just been the joy of my life, is being able to work with these students, see how happy it makes them, see and know that, they bring their children in. We have stuff in there for, we have stickers and little toys and stuff that we give the kids. And it's just this wonderful experience that I get to have every day here. And I'm so thankful for it.
That's beautiful. Theresa, I know you have a background in social work, but there's more to it, right? Like what's in it for you? You get teary-eyed every time we're talking about different things here. What is pulling the strings in your heart here that makes this job that you have right now like so meaningful to you?
Well, so I graduated from YC in 2004.
Yay.
And I had just gotten my GED. I had no prior education. And I know that it started me on a road, journey, a different journey than what I was on before, working at Taco Bell, or not that there's anything wrong with working at Taco Bell, but I just wanted something more. I wanted a job where I loved what I was doing and where I was making an impact on people's lives. So I always think of it like the starfish story. One starfish at a time. And each one of those starfish are very important, right? And just seeing people, I've had students come and work at my resource fairs that have graduated and that had such a hard time coming to the basic needs office for services.
Right.
And just seeing the impact that one resource, one conversation can have on people, and just to give them hope. And that's really important to me.
I love it. Well, ladies, thank you very much again. I really appreciated our conversation here. Is there anything that we left behind that we didn't touch you would like to finish this podcast with?
No, I just want to say again that our next mobile food distribution in the parking lot across from the PAC is October 17th.
Perfect. And this is 2025, just in case someone is listening to this episode way down the road in the future. How about you, Theresa? Anything left?
No, I don't think so. I think we've about covered it.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you both very much for everything that you do and all the information you shared here with us. And good luck with our future endeavors. I'm going to be looking for that Yavapai College food truck. Deb?
Yes.
There you go.
We're doing
I want to know all about that.
I got to talk to Amy.
Again, Theresa and Deborah, thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank you, Kaden.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the YCNU podcast. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got someone in mind for our next chat? Reach out and let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.